Hello, BookTube. Hello, friends. Welcome to Lizzie Faye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth, and it's Friday, December 4th, so I thought I would do a Friday Reads video. I'm not going to get in front of the camera today. I just have so much going on, and I don't want to stop and take the length of time it takes to put on makeup and all of that. But I just want to quickly show you what I'm currently reading and what I have already finished so far in the month of December. I did get my November wrap-up done in a fairly timely fashion for me, and I have already finished 4 books so far in the month of December. So I think I may go ahead and try to do a Friday Reads video each Friday in December, especially because I'm not doing Vlogmas, I'm not doing, any kind of an Advent or anything like that. So at least I can sort of keep you updated on what I'm reading. Now, I know Christmas falls on Friday, but I may as well do a video on Friday, on Christmas Day. I don't know what would prevent me from doing it. It might be a little later in the day after we've opened our gifts and had our Christmas dinner and all of that, but we shall see. If it ends up being Saturday before I can get it done, then that's fine. So what you're looking at here, this is my staging shelf, which I've shown you before. I did kind of a reorganization of it, even since my reorganization video, where in the middle of November, I pulled everything off that I had already read in November and kind of just tried to leave the stuff that I was pretty sure I was going to read between, then and November. So, or December, sorry. So I have added a few things to it, and I have taken off a couple of things, and there's probably still a handful of books on here that I'm pretty sure I'm not going to get to. I've also got some library checkouts down there that I think I'm not going to try to read all of those either. Mainly, my goals are to finish as much as I can on my 20 by 20 lists, and also finish some of the readathons that I challenged myself to do. I've got just a couple of books left on those, and that's really the main thing. As of this moment, I don't plan on doing any other readathons in December. I know there's a really fun one that Chloe and Sarah are doing, where there's like a little map, I can't even remember now what they call it. I'm so sorry, I can't remember the name of it. It looks super fun. So if I do anything, it'll probably be that. But mainly, I just want to focus on what I need to read by the end of the month. And I am working on some challenges that I'm going to introduce for the coming year. So stay tuned for those. But let me just show you what I've already finished, and we'll go. So the first book I finished in December is The Penultimate Peril by Lemony Snicket. It is the penultimate book in a series of unfortunate events. And then the next day I listened to The End, which is the last book in the 13-book series. These books were just so unique. I mean, that's really the best way to describe them. They're just the most unusual books that I've ever read. And I did go ahead and listen to both of these on audio. I had planned to read The Penultimate Peril on the last day of November, and I started it, but I got about halfway done and it was midnight, and I realized that I hadn't even really been paying attention to the first half. So I got up the next day, December 1st, and I just started it over and then listen to the last book on the 2nd. So I'm excited that I have gotten this series done, and I'm glad that they did put them all on Hoopla, because when I first set out to start reading these, they were not all on audio on Hoopla, and I did start reading, I think the first half I did read in print, and I enjoyed reading them in print, but then as the year went along, I just got busy, and I just decided to go ahead and start listening to them. I'm going to hang on to my copies of the books, though. These might be worth a reread one of these days, and if not, I'll pass them on to someone else, but I do have the whole set, and they were a lot of fun to read, even though it is about some very unfortunate things. And then yesterday, I was able to listen to the last two books in the Shadow Children series by Margaret Peterson Haddix. Among the Enemy is book 6, and Among the Free is book 7. This is a series I have been working on for several years. In fact, I think I started reading this series when Katie was in elementary school because I remember checking one out of her elementary school library, and now she's a senior in high school. But it has been a very compelling series. It is not a fun series. I mean, it's a serious topic and it's heavy, but still a very enjoyable series. It's basically a futuristic series where it is illegal to have 3 or more children. There's been a famine, and so now it's illegal to have extra children. You know, I say extra. It's illegal to have more than 2, and it's just a police state. And in fact, the population police are basically the government, and it's scary. So I have really enjoyed the books, but they're not fun books at all. And Margaret Peterson Haddix is not afraid to kill characters. So if that sounds like something that would be interesting to you, then you might want to pick up the first book, Among the Hidden. In fact, the first 5 are on Hoopla on audio, and they're all on Scribd. So if you are interested in listening to them on audio, then that is a couple of resources where you could find them. So now then, let me put these away, and I'll show you what I'm currently reading. One book I've been reading all year long, and now I am getting down to the last few pages, is A Year with C.S. Lewis. This has just been a really interesting book. There is a page for every day. It's dated, and sometimes it's a full page, and sometimes it's just a little short excerpt, but there are excerpts from several of his classic works, and a few of them I've read and some of them I haven't, but I have just really, really enjoyed this book. It's very philosophical, and at first I was not sure that I was gonna want to read it because I thought, oh, is this gonna be too deep for me? But I have really, really enjoyed it. So this is a book I would recommend, and I am thinking right now of someone I might like to pass this on to. So anyway, I am excited that I will have finished this, and now I want to go, continue on and read some more books by C.S. Lewis. Of course, I've read all the Chronicles of Narnia, and I've read a couple of the books that are quoted in here, that have excerpts in here, like the Screwtape Letters and A Great Divorce. But there are a couple of others that have got some excerpts in this book that sound like really good books. So I'm looking forward to reading more C.S. Lewis in the future. So I decided not to read any nonfiction books out of my TBR jar this month, but I did want to at least pick up one nonfiction book. And so I thought this one would be appropriate for the season. It's called Can Martha Have a Merry Christmas? Untangling Expectations and Truly Experiencing Jesus by Brenda Poinsett. And I have read at least a couple of other Mary and Martha books in the past, and I really enjoy studying them and that comparison. So I thought this would be a very appropriate book, especially for the season. And it turns out it has 25 short chapters. So I'm reading a chapter a day, kind of along with my devotional, since it is a Christian book. And I will finish up on Christmas morning. So that, I think, is going to be a very good, very enjoyable book for the season. This is a book that I read about half of in November and realized that I wasn't going to finish it, so I carried it over into December. It is Buried in a Book by Lucy Arlington. It's book 1 in the Novel Idea Mystery series. I've had this book and the second book in the series on my shelf for a little while, and I noticed that Di from Dice's 19 Hearts had chosen this one for her November read for the Book One Cozies Club. And she decided to handle this one a little bit differently. Instead of reading the whole thing and then having a discussion thread on the Mystery Madness Goodreads group like she usually does, she did a video series where she read 2 chapters and then came back and did a discussion video. And then she read the next 2 chapters and came back and did a discussion video, so that she has 8 videos about each of the chapters. And then I think another video where she talks about the whole book without spoilers. The individual chapter by chapter videos do contain spoilers. So even though I'm a few days behind where she, I didn't read it exactly on the same day that she did, it feels like I'm buddy reading this book with her, because every time I finish the next 2 chapters, I go back and I watch her video, and then I make comments on it, and then she makes comments back, and it just goes like that. So if this is a book that you think you would like to read, then I want to encourage you to check out her video series. It was just posted, the last few days of November, and be sure you go in order, and be sure that you don't watch the video until you have read each of the chapters that she's going to talk about, because there will be spoilers. So I am currently, I think there's 16 chapters, and I am in the 6th section. So let's see, I have just started reading. I think I finished chapter, well, gracious, this is taking forever. Anyway, there we go. Chapter 11. Yeah, I just started chapter 11. So when I finish chapter 12, then I will go back and watch part 6 of the videos and go from there. So this is a fun book, and I knew that when I picked it up that I was going to do it at the risk of not getting done with the 2 cozy mysteries that I said I needed to read above all else. These are the last 2 cozy mysteries on my 20 by 20 challenge that I really need to read. So they're still here on my TBR, and I definitely want to read them. If I have to choose one or the other, it'll probably be this one, because I've been promising my sister I'd read this series in forever, for forever, and I've only read the first one. This is book 2 in the Southern Sewing Circle Mysteries. Anyway, those are to be read, but I'm going to finish this one first. Then I'm so mad that I did not get this read in the month of November. I sat down with it on the last day of the month, and I thought, oh, it's a graphic novel, I should be able to just knock this out. But I was finishing up the last couple chapters of a nonfiction book, and I started getting sleepy, and I just could not get this done. So I didn't really start this until December 1st, and I'm only 2 or 3 chapters in. This is the graphic novel version of The Red Pyramid, and The Red Pyramid is book 1 in the Kane Chronicle series by Rick Riordan, and this topic is Egyptian mythology. The Kane, their brother and sister team, the Kanes, and their dad and mom both have ties to ancient Egyptian gods, but they don't know that, of course, in the very beginning. So that is a fun series. I did finish the actual books this year. I had read books 1 and 2 in previous years, and then read book 3 this year. So I thought this would be a fun thing to pick up. This is my own book, and I went ahead and, in my thought process of thinking, oh, I can just read that one really fast, I went ahead and checked out the other 2 from the library, Throne of Fire and Serpent Shadow, but it has taken me so long to read this first one. I'm just not fast with graphic novels like some people are. So I may just send back the other 2 and just go ahead and finish this one, so that this counts as the very last prompt that I needed to read for the Fall Into Reading Challenge, which that was the reason I'm so mad that I didn't get it read in November, because I wanted this to count for the Fall Into Reading Challenge. I finished all the other prompts except graphic novel. So I'm still going to read it, belatedly, but I'm just mad that I didn't get it read within the 3-month time frame. So, of course, I have a couple of audiobooks going. In my car, I'm listening to A Red Herring Without Mustard by Alan Bradley. This is book 3 in the Flavia de Luce mystery series. I don't have this series on my 20 by 20 challenge, but I just was looking for something that I could listen to in my car, and I do own book 4 of this series on CD, and it's a Christmas themed book, or at least it takes place at Christmas. So I thought, why not just go ahead and listen to this, and maybe if I can get this done in time, then I can pick up book 4. But meanwhile, I had already ordered the CD version of The New Fanny Flag, which is The Wonder Boy of Whistle Stop, and it came in, so I might maybe listen to this one in the house because it's a new release, so I have to get it done fairly quickly and get it back to the library. So I may just, get it done sooner than later. And on my phone, on Scribd, I just started today, Dearest Dorothy, Are We There Yet? It's by Charlene Ann Bombeck. I have been saying her name wrong, and I apologize for that. But I was excited that even though I listened to 2 audiobooks on Scribd yesterday, it doesn't look like that they have cut me off yet. So I thought, before I start something else and, another series or whatever, that I do have another Hoopla book checked out. But I thought I'll just see how many of these I can get read before Scribd cuts me off. So this is the first book in the series. This is this is an author that I have collected 5 books by, and had actually I've got a couple of others too that are not part of the series, and I had not read anything by her. So she is a collected author that I've never read. I do own all of this series except for the Christmas book, and I am looking for it right now actively, because now a lot of libraries that do sell books have put out their Christmas books. So I'm hoping that I can find book 5, which is a Christmas book. All of these are on Scribd on audio. So like I said, I'm just going to listen to as many of them as I can. I'm not going to expect to be able to listen to all of them this month, because Scribd will cut me off at some point. And I'm just going to enjoy them as I go. I mentioned that I have one more book checked out on Hoopla that I have not listened to. And speaking of Hoopla, I always try to use up my borrows at the end of the month. And at the end of November, I had 5 borrows left, which is fewer than I usually have, but I forgot to use them. And now this month, our library has bumped it down to 12 borrows per month. It was originally 10, and then when COVID hit, they bumped it up to 15, and now they have gone back to 12. So I'm mad that I lost those 5 borrows. I just completely forgot. But I think of the stuff that I really want to listen to this month, I think that 12 will be more than enough. I did already have this one checked out before the end of the month. This is a series that I would like to try to finish this month, because the last few books are Christmas themed. But this is book 4 in the Ransom Canyon series by Jody Thomas. It's Sunrise Crossing. I also have physical copies of the next ones after that, Wild Horse Springs and Indigo Lake. And then after that, there's like 3, maybe 2 full-length ones and a novella that are Christmas themed. So they are on Hoopla as well, and I will be listening to the full-length ones and then reading the novella on ebook form. So that is a series that I plan to finish in the month of December. And I've got 2 other library books checked out. One of them I may decide to wait on. This is Ready Player 2 by Ernest Cline. This is the only copy in our county library system so far, and I got it first. I had put my name down on the pre-pub list before anyone else, and it's not on my 20 by 20 challenge, even though I'm super excited to read it. I'm going to at least read the first chapter and see how quickly it grabs me and pulls me in. Because if I read this, then that means that probably, a few of these are going to fall by the wayside. And so I have to make a tough decision, but I really, really want to read this. But I might wait and see if an audio version comes out pretty soon and just listen to it that way. And then I also have A Thief of Time by Tony Hillerman checked out. I had this checked out in November and I didn't get it done. This is on my 20 by 20 challenge. This is the last series on one of my lists or stacks that I need to read from. So that will be a good goal. I definitely want to read this one. And it's not particularly long. There are several of these on audio, but I Can't even find this on Audible. I don't even think it's on there. So maybe this one was never put on audio. I'm not sure. Anyway, it's not too terribly long, and I do plan to read it. So for now, that is everything I have finished so far in the month of December and what I'm currently reading. And I will hopefully be back soon with another video. I still have some book haul videos to do that I've been promising. And right now, though, I need to go do a little bit of housework and try to do a little more decorating for Christmas. You can see I've got my little truck out here, but I see so many people doing videos in front of their Christmas tree, and I want to try to do that this year. We did get our tree already. We always get a real tree, and we've got lights on it, but that's about it. We're kind of doing it gradually because of having a new dog. We don't really know exactly how he's going to do with the tree. He has already made some attempts to bite it and pull at the branches. So it may not get decorated much more than it already is. But hopefully at some point I will maybe do at least 1 or 2 videos in front of the tree. And meanwhile, I need to be about the business of doing a little bit of cleaning and getting out a few more Christmas decorations. So that's all I have for this video. I hope you're having a great day. Read a good book, and God bless you.